as an INTP or not an INTP, whoever you are or whatever you resonate with watching this, I'm curious about your relationship to hoarding. I've been thinking about sharing, and through my exploration of the Gene Keys system, I've been recognizing that there is a certain miserly energy within me at times, especially with money, but it can happen with knowledge, with other resources, with other forms of sharing, contribution, energy, time, all sorts of ways that I can get caught up in hoarding something. And throughout my experience of, there's that show Hoarders. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but that show has a lot of interesting mechanisms to think about when it comes to psychology, especially when it comes to like levels of development. There is this pattern of people getting stuck, either moving up through development when it comes to hoarding disorder, or they get sort of crashed down to some sort of personal trauma or some sort of moment in their life that brings them into a hoarding disorder experience. And the commonality that I've at least noticed when I watched that show is this relationship to value. Like when we're hoarding stuff, it's because we don't really know what to do with it. And there's a certain flow that we're afraid to get into. That when we release energy, when we release an object, release our time, release control of everything that we want to have control over, there's a reciprocity and flow that we can get into if that energy is being put in the right place. If we don't know where to put that energy, it can manifest in that kind of hoarding, a hoarding of time, energy, resources, knowledge, etc. So I'm curious about what is a hoarding experience for you, and if you're hoarding it, is it because you're having a difficulty with assigning value to it? Like I know for me as an INTP, I can sometimes have challenge with acknowledging the value of my thought process. Like where does all this stuff that I accumulate, all of this trivia, all of this nonsense, all of this, even that was a negative judgment, right? All of this like personality material, all of these various systems, all of my knowledge around graphic design, all of the various things I'm learning about the universe through books and stuff, like where is that useful? And it can be really hard to find usefulness for all of that material. And that can be one of the great struggles of being an INTP is like, where am I needed? And finding where you're needed is sort of a lifelong ambition, I would say, for a lot of INTPs. But to particularly apply this idea of value, like value in this sense is about feedback. It's like you're getting feedback from people that you're providing value to them and sort of resolving a need for them, whether that's through coaching or troubleshooting technical issues or doing therapeutic like movement physically or like moving energy in some sort of way. By getting continual feedback and in some sort of feedback loop, there is a reaffirming that the knowledge or the specialty or the expertise that you're involved in or have an understanding of is of value, is of use. And therefore there's no need to hoard it. I wouldn't say necessarily like freely give it away. It's not necessarily about like, it's not about sacrifice or charity necessarily. It could be in a business, it could be in a rhythm of life that has that feedback loop embedded into it. But if we're afraid to try putting our ideas into a business form, we're afraid to try to connect with a community through sharing our knowledge, which is something that I certainly struggle with, especially related to community. Let's see if I can put this down and help with some light management. I certainly have some challenge. Like, that's why I'm here on YouTube. I'm like, who wants this? who needs my support and help and my knowledge, right? It's been especially challenging to serve INTPs because we do our own research, right? We figure out our own stuff. But there are points where it's like, I want to know what it's like for another INTP to have experienced this. And what I typically do is I share my experiences. I share what I've figured out, or the mistakes I've made, or my curiosities, right? And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to translate that into a feedback loop and into a sustainable business, or one aspect of, income generation, so that there's enough flow of money in my life. Right now, there's just not enough. I don't need a lot. I know what I need, but I'm trying to get there. It's kind of like an $800 a week thing would be pretty satisfactory right now. But things aren't flowing. There's something in the system of my life that isn't clicking. And so I'm starting to ask my questions of, where am I being miserly? Where am I hoarding my energy, or my time, or my knowledge, or my experience? Where am I half-assing it? Sometimes that happens. I will not feel valued sometimes, and I will catch myself just kind of phoning it in, so to speak, when it comes to certain kinds of work. If I don't feel like I'm, really, for myself, setting value properly for myself, but then also being valued properly for my work, right? So there's one thing to have a certain generosity. Like, I consider this to be sharing and to be giving information. I do hope that there's a financial exchange, but I don't expect it. And, I hope that I can get into a better rhythm of honoring the value that I need to receive for what I'm putting into the world, and then also tuning properly to taking in information that is actually useful and needed. If my expertise, if what I have a particular niche around isn't somewhere that I can plug myself into, I may have to consider moving on. I mean, if you've been around on this channel for a while now and seen me spit at the camera a lot, my phone just stops recording randomly. If you've seen me, through this channel quite a bit, you'll know that I've had situations where I've wanted to stop. Like, I just haven't been getting the feedback loop that I've been hoping for. I haven't been getting the financial value that I've been hoping for. And I think for me, it is kind of this hoarding desire, and almost in an effort to give it away, I'm trying to give a lot of this knowledge away in a sense that is like, anybody here, take it, but not doing the discernment to figure out who actually wants it. So it's one thing for me to talk to INTPs, but it's like, okay, who though? Which INTPs are needing my support? Those struggling like me, or those who have struggled with similar circumstances? Those with reconciling their mental health? Those are trying to being more creative? I mean, actually, it would really be helpful to me that if you very much resonated with my work, like, how else would you describe yourself? And what do you need so that I can be more accurately of service? That's important for me to know where my value stands. And from there, how do I then start to let go of this hoarding, let go of really fully unleashing, so that I can properly serve, so that I can properly bring my time, energy, sharing my experience sharing my know-how, and all of that stuff, right? So ultimately, it does lead back to this question for you. Two things. One, where have you been receiving value from my videos, if you have been? If you haven't been, like, what do you need? And then I can calibrate to see if that is something I can provide or not. And then the other is, where are you hoarding where is hoarding energy in your life? Are you hoarding time? Are you hoarding resources? Are you hoarding energy? Are you hoarding love? Are you hoarding generosity, like not giving or not sharing or not caring? Or are you not giving yourself proper self-love and self-esteem? Are you not in relationship with others? Are you hoarding connection? Like, are you hoarding yourself from others in some way, shape, or form? Or are you hoarding, accomplishment, celebration, joy? What is something that is bringing that hoarding energy for you? I'd love to know. So I think that's all I got. I just wanted to kind of muse on that for a minute. If you'd like to support me and support this channel, there's a couple ways. There's the join button here on YouTube. There is also my Substack, dopamine.substack.com, DOPEAMINE. There is a subscription model there you can join to get to support and donate to my work. And then also there's Udemy courses that are posted below in the description, also for INTPs, around relationships, around empowerment for INTPs, meaning kind of bringing in the shadow functions, integration. And then my favorite course, which is called Cosmic Calibration, which is about unlocking intuition for INTPs and how to kind of get out of these ruts. All based on my personal experience, all based on researched personality ideas and knowledge, and have actually been very helpful in my life. So, and those who have taken those courses have loved them, absolutely loved them, and been able to make some necessary changes for themselves. So I appreciate you for watching, and let me know in the comments, hoarding, how I can serve, and really any other topics or questions that come up. Let's chat. All right, I've been C-Note. Catch you next time.